Welcome back to Wall Again, where passion meets music, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the first night of Oasis at Croke Park as part of the Live 25 tour. It happened on Saturday the 16th of August 2025 and I was lucky enough to get tickets to the gig. So I'm going to run you through the whole day and my experience and what I thought of everything about the day. So we started off around lunchtime. We left the Boyne Valley, we picked up two of our mates en route, parked up in North Dublin, and we walked down to Croke Park. It was about a 20-minute walk. Stopped off in a pub on the way for a few drinks. It was called the Ivy House, and there was actually an Oasis tribute band playing. Well, it was one guy on acoustic guitar, another guy singing. Then we made our way down to a little pizzeria and had some food there before we made our way into Croke Park. And we eventually got in. There was massive queues to get into the arena. We came out at the corner onto Croke Park pitch. Now this stadium is absolutely massive. If you've seen any of the footage I've put up from the day, you'll see how big this stadium is. I was looking at some of the other gigs that Oasis played, and I have to say, just Croke Park when it's full, it's such an impressive stadium. So on a match day, I think Croke Park can hold a maximum capacity of around 82,000 people, which is itself a big crowd. But you'll notice that the north stand of the stadium is actually terrace. It's standing only, and usually for concerts what they do is they remove they won't let anyone stand on the terrace for the concerts, and they put the stage straight in front of the terrace. So you get three full massive stands of three tiers of seating. So you've got the lower tier, your premium and box tiers, and then you've got your higher tier, your upper tier of seating. And then you've got the pitch filled. So if we take that the hill, it's called the Hill 16, that terrace. If we take that the hill maybe holds about 10,000 people, there was more than 10,000 people on the pitch. So I'm guessing that there was probably 90 to 100,000 people at these gigs each night. If you're from Ireland, you'll be well aware of this stadium, and I'd love to hear from anyone that knows how many people were actually at the gigs. But I would say it was well in excess of 100,000 each night. And another mate of mine actually got two tickets, pitch standing on the Sunday, and they got released earlier in the week. So I think as they were looking at the final sight lines of where the stage would be and stuff, then they were able to release more tickets on sale. So whatever was stated at the start probably increased. So look, I think there was 90 to 100,000 people there each night, but I stand to be corrected. It certainly felt like that in the stadium. We missed Cast. So Cast were the opening band that were due on. I think they were due on like 6 o'clock, something like that. But we actually missed their whole set because it took so long to walk in, and we grabbed a bit of food and some drinks beforehand. So when we got in, it was the break between Cast and Richard Ashcroft, of course, of The Verve. So then Richard Ashcroft came out. He started off with a couple of songs from that amazing album from 1997, of course, Urban Hymns. One of them, Sleeping Willow, is one of them. I recognise that one, and there was another one from the album as well. I think he played some of his solo stuff, and then he just belted into the last four songs, which were Lucky Man, Sonnet, The Drugs Don't Work, and he finished off with Bittersweet Symphony. I put a video of the end of Bittersweet Symphony up on my channel, and at this time I'd say the stadium was probably about 80% full, and you could see every person was singing that song. So I think Richard Ashcroft is the perfect warm-up act or support act for Oasis. He's in that time of the 1990s. He's in that whole vibe of the Britpop or indie or whatever you want to call that guitar-based music from Britain in the 1990s, and he's obviously good mates with Oasis, but he brings out all the hits from The Verve in his set, and especially that album Urban Hymns, which was huge in 1997 when it was released. So Richard Ashcroft came out, he did his thing, crowd were amazing, and then he was gone off stage to give them a chance to set up for Oasis. So the crowd were in great spirits, the PA was pumping, it was all great rock music. We met up with the other two guys in there then for most of Richard Ashcroft's set, and then we decided to push forward, and we got to a place that was, I'd say, about 10 people back from the barrier between the pit or the gold circle at the front and the GA. So we were quite far up, and to be fair, I thought it would be wedged. Like I thought we'd not be able to move around too much and it would be tight for space, but it wasn't at all. It was actually quite spacious, and everyone seemed to be in the same kind of vibe, good vibes. Everyone was in good mood, good energy. I didn't see anyone fighting or causing hassle, and that was great. And again, it was like the same profile of our age. It was people, mostly men in their 30s and 40s, early 50s maybe, just there for the music and there just to enjoy the good vibes. So in the lead up to Oasis coming on, we all know that Fucking in the Bushes is the song that they play through the PA as they're walking out on stage before they launch into the first song. But they actually played the Dubliners version of the L Triangle, which is a song which was written by Brendan Behan. Now, being Irish and liking music, I'm aware of this song, but I didn't actually know the lyrics. And my mate, who is a big traditional Irish folk music fan, he had to kind of tell me the lyrics in between. But he said the main thing is once you're able to sing the chorus, you'll be all right. So the verse, people were kind of muttering the words, but as the chorus came in, the whole stadium just erupted and was singing the L Triangle goes jingle jangle on the banks of the Royal Canal, and it was amazing. I think Oasis actually put clips of the crowd singing this before they came on out on their official YouTube channel, so certainly go check that out if you're interested. But it's just the typical Irish thing, where, you know, we're just up for a party, we're up for a sing-song, and we love our music, and it's something that's embedded into our culture. And certainly when they pull out tracks like this, even though I'm not the biggest traditional Irish music or folk fan, I really have to appreciate the importance of those types of moments. So that was brilliant. Then it launched into Fucking in the Bushes, so we all knew what was coming next. The crowd were jumping up and down, the energy was high, everyone was really looking forward with eager anticipation. And then the band walk out arm in arm, as we've seen so many times throughout this tour, and they launch into Hello. So Hello is a bit of an odd song. They kind of dropped it from their set list in the 2000s, but they've brought that back again, and of course the words just fit the occasion perfectly. Hello, it's good to be back. So that was amazing. People were jumping up and down for that song, even though like it's a rocky song, but they have better songs than that. And then it launches into Acquiesce, where both brothers sing. So Liam has a section and then Noel has a section in the chorus. You know, we believe in one another, we belong to each other, whatever the exact lyrics are, I can't remember at this moment in time, but it was absolutely brilliant, and the lyrics really rang home. Next song then was Morning Glory. I was able to get about a minute of footage of that. I didn't want to be taking out my phone. There wasn't great coverage there, so live streaming was certainly out. That wasn't going to work. And then I was going to record sections of song and post them, but I didn't want to ruin the experience by trying to record the stage and trying to post videos all the time. So I picked my moments. So I think it was like in certain songs I'd pick a verse or a chorus, or a verse and chorus. I'd record 1 minute, I'd upload it if I could, if I had coverage, and then I'd just concentrate on the show. So that way I could enjoy the show, but I also could get something up on the channel, because I know a lot of people were eagerly anticipating this gig and they were watching my channel for updates. So Morning Glory, I caught a verse and a chorus of that, and in the middle of that I was able to pan around the whole stadium, and you can see how epic the stadium looks like. You know, it's absolutely brilliant. It's a world-class stadium, and as I say, it felt like there was 100,000 people in the stadium that day. Morning Glory was amazing, and then we're into Some Might Say, and the hits just keep on coming with this band. It's sing-along, it's high energy, feel-good rock and roll, and you know, the band for this were on fire, I should say. So obviously we had Liam on vocals, Noel on lead guitar and vocal, and then we had Bonehead on rhythm guitar, but we also had Gem Archer there on rhythm and lead guitar. So the sound from the stage was amazing. We had Andy Bell on bass and Joey Veronica on the keys, or sorry, on the drums. They had a keyboard player, I can't remember his name, but the sound from the stage sounded epic. It was absolutely huge, and the crowd were well up for it. So after Some Might Say, then we had Bring It On Down. There was a little bit of a lull for that, because it's probably one of their deeper cuts from Definitely Maybe, but me and my mates, we were all over it. We were loving that one. And then it went into Cigarettes and Alcohol, and we had the whole Poznan jumping up and down with the arms intact, which are back to Oasis. That was amazing, absolutely brilliant. Apparently you could hear the tremors on the ground in County Tipperary, which is like over 100 kilometers away from Dublin. Don't know how true that is, but I had read that there the other day. But one of my mates is a massive Man United fan, and because the Poznan dance is a Man City thing, he didn't want to participate in it, but the rest of us did. We thought it was good crack, so that was good. And then the next song number 7 on the set list, was a song that I wasn't very familiar with. It's from the Master Plan. It's called Fade Away. I think they could have picked better songs, to be honest. Like they didn't play Columbia, they didn't play Stop Crying Your Heart Out, they didn't play Shake or Maker. I think those would have been better songs to be in the set list than Fade Away. But to be honest, that was probably my only quib with the set list. I think everything else in there was spot on. Following that, we go into Supersonic, which is one of the most epic Oasis songs of all time. Of course, they speed up the drums a little bit on this one, but Noel Gallagher's lead guitar on this is just absolutely phenomenal, you know. And of course the lyrics from Liam, he really delivers them with, you know, attitude and grit, and it just brings me back to the 1990s when I hear that song. Following that then, there was Roll With It, and that one was dedicated to Charlestown, County Mayo, which was the birthplace of Peggy Gallagher. So that was great. Roll With It I love. I think it's a really great rockin' tune. It was one of the first Oasis songs I really got into when I was younger. It was Cigarettes and Alcohol was in the charts, and that was in the compilation album I had. And then of course I saw Roll With It, I think it was on Top of the Pops, and it was on Top 30 Hits, and I just thought it was absolutely amazing. Following that then, Liam takes a break, so he goes off stage and he's kind of talking into the camera and giving it the big one and all the rest, you know, and the crowd are absolutely loving it. He's such a character. He goes off the stage, and then Noel goes into Talk Tonight, and it's a band version of Talk Tonight. So Talk Tonight, of course, was written and performed and sang by Noel back in the day. It's off the Master Plan, and yeah, he just lets loose on this one now. He's absolutely fantastic on it. Vocals are in top form on this one, and there was a lot of people around us who really liked that song. There was actually a couple beside us, and they were big into that song, and it was great to see so many people singing that song. It's amazing. Then following that, we had Half the World Away, which was dedicated to the royal family. And no doubt when you mention anything about the royals or the British Empire in Ireland, you're going to get boos. So that got booed, and rightly so. And then we had Little by Little, which was the last song by Noel on this segment of the gig. I have to say at this point, the weather was absolutely amazing. The sun was splitting the stones, as we say in Ireland, for the whole day. Not a drop of rain, and it was absolutely brilliant. It added to the whole atmosphere. I saw photos and videos from Toronto. I believe it was really, really heavy rain throughout that gig, and fair play to the fans. You know, they just sucked it up and they kept going. But it always helps when the weather is good, especially in Ireland, because even in August it can rain, you know. So we were delighted and we were blessed with the weather, as we say. Liam came back out on stage then for his second half of songs, and it was Do You Know What I Mean, which I think is just an amazing song, and it's from of course Be Here Now from 1997. I think that's a good album. Now I have to say there's some really good songs in it. Three of my favourite songs on that are Do You Know What I Mean, Stand By Me, and All Around the World, and two of those were played. Do You Know What I Mean and Stand By Me. Stand By Me is dedicated to Peggy Gallagher on this one, and Peggy got a great applause on that one. And then we move into song number 15, Cast No Shadow. Now this one was dedicated to the Leak Posse, which was a reference to the Gallagher's extended parental family. And if anyone knows anything about Oasis, you'll know that their dad didn't treat them very well growing up, shall we say. And there's always been animosity between particularly Liam, but also Noel, towards his father and their father, should I say. So on Cast No Shadow, there was people in front of us had a flag that had the Irish tricolour and Duleek written across. Of course, I've mentioned before, Duleek isn't very far from where I live here, near the Boyne Valley. And yeah, so he basically said, this one goes out to the Duleek Posse, it's not your fault. So I thought that was nice. And one of the guys who was with me, one of my mates at the gig, is actually from Duleek originally. So I thought that was nice. Then he goes into Slide Away, which is one of Oasis' best songs without a doubt. And then we had Whatever, which is absolutely epic. What an epic sing-along song. And that was just a snippet of Octopus's Garden in that one there. I have to say with Oasis, all of these songs were being sung by everyone, with the exception of maybe Bring It On Down and Fade Away. Apart from that, when I was looking around, everybody knew all the words to all the songs. And I've never been at a concert like that. Possibly Bruce Springsteen, but it was just mind-blowing to me. Metallica are another one, actually. On their concerts, everybody seems to know every word. But like, people were just, you know, so happy that this band has gotten back together, and they just live for this music and know this music inside out. It brings them back to their youth. Following Whatever, we had Live Forever, which is, you know, one of my favourite songs of all time. Again, another great guitar solo from Noel on this one. He was in top form all day. Followed by Rock and Roll Star, and the place just erupted for Rock and Roll Star. Real heavy rocker. The band go off stage then, and then there's an encore. Before the encore, Noel does an introduction of the band, which I thought was very good, and a nice nod to the guys in the band. Then Noel goes into The Master Plan, which again is another phenomenal song, written by Noel and sung by Noel. You know, it's great to see Noel getting his spotlight on these gigs. And then Don't Look Back in Anger, where Noel was having a bit of crack with the crowd, as we say in Ireland. So go check out the videos on that one if you want to know what I mean. But yeah, look, Don't Look Back in Anger was amazing, and I was looking around the stadium, and again, the place was just erupting with song. It was just amazing. Following that then, it was Wonderwall, and then we had Champagne Supernova, and it says here with a snippet of Columbia at the end of the song. I don't actually recall Columbia being played at the end of the song. I must go check that out. But yeah, all in all, it was absolutely fantastic. Was it worth the money? Yes, it definitely was. It definitely was worth the money. There's no doubt about it. It was a phenomenal gig. One of the best gigs I've ever been to in my life. And I've been to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gigs over the last, 25 years. And I have to say, it was one of the best gigs I was ever at in my life. They really brought it. The band were amazing. The support band were amazing in terms of Richard Ashcroft and the Verve stuff he did. The crowd were amazing. The weather was amazing. The venue was really good. Everything was well organised. I have to say, I was very, very impressed from start to finish with the full day. I was there with my mates and my brother, of course, you know, so couldn't ask for better. It was just brilliant. Definitely worth the money. And I probably would have gone again on the Sunday if I had a ticket. So there you go. It was a 10 out of 10 concert for me. They really are one of the best sing-along bands of all time. I think like their music is up there with Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, the Beatles. Anything you think of sing-along songwriter music, it's up there with all that. I know they got a lot of flack in the 90s for their attitude, and they still get a lot of flack these days, but in my opinion, I think they're one of the best bands in the world, and they definitely proved it that weekend in Croke Park. No doubt about it, in my opinion. So, looking forward, there's been a lot of rumours that Oasis might actually headline Slane Castle next year, and they are doing a European tour. That's the understanding. And the rumours are that they'll play 3 nights in Nebworth, I believe, as a part of that European tour. But the rumour is also that they'll play a date at Slane Castle. It's been mentioned that they might play on the Wednesday, July the 8th, should I say. I'm not sure how that will work out with residents and permits and everything else. There's never been a midweek gig in Slane Castle. There's been Saturday gigs and Sunday gigs only. And the Sunday gig was the Bob Dylan gig in 1984, which was an absolute disaster. Ended up being riots and everything at it. So I don't know if they'll be allowed to be staged, if a gig will be allowed to be staged on a Wednesday. I don't know if that's going to actually happen. There's also talk about U2 headlining, and there's talk about 2 concerts, and there's talk about world-class acts, world-class rock bands. So for me, like, I'm a massive Oasis fan, a massive U2 fan. I think it would be amazing if Oasis played on the Wednesday and U2 on the Saturday, and maybe they share the stage. And you know, maybe Noel or Liam turn up at the U2 gig and Bono and The Edge turn up at the Oasis gig. That would be absolutely brilliant for me, a big rock fan from this part of the world. But we'll have to see what happens. Here's hoping that they come next year and they play Slane. But there you go. That's my review of Oasis Live 25 on the 16th of August in Croke Park. I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you could also subscribe and leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you if you were at the gig. What did you think of it? Are you as enthusiastic about it as I am after whatever this is, a week and a half? Please let me know. Or if you went and you thought it was rubbish, please let me know why you did, because I don't think anyone thought this gig was rubbish. Not from where I was standing. Okay, I hope you liked the video, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye for now.